Hey, I'm McG, and we're here at the pool of Newport Harbor High School. I went to Corona Del Mar High School, and all the sort of cooler, more edgy kids went to Newport Harbor High School, and there was this sort of big rivalry between, the Sailors and the Sea Kings, and a lot of you guys went to Harbor. And Harbor was always a little bit groovier, but I think that probably goes for both sides of the bay. Like, if you go to Harbor, you think Corona's cooler, and if you go to Corona, you think Harbor's cooler? No? Harbor's cooler?
Definitely.
Really?
Yes, by far.
Oh, wow, all right, so that's new. When I was in high school, I was a tiny little weasel. I literally graduated high school. I was 5 feet tall, I had an orange afro, braces, I wore like dolphins, I was a complete moron. And like all the water polo guys would wear the Adidas sandals with no socks, and they had really good bodies, and like all the girls sort of dug it. I look like you, man. Did you play water polo in high school?
I played water polo in high school.
I figured, yeah. All right, were you a lifeguard too?
I was.
Yeah, there you go. What I want to do is just talk to you guys and talk to you largely about a question I get a lot of. What do you find the biggest differences between your experience of living in Orange County and what you see on the television show?
I watch the OC, and I see a lot of stuff that I actually have seen and still see and saw while I was in Newport Beach, living here my whole life. The one thing that everyone likes to bring up is the party where everyone's wearing bikinis. And every girl, like, I've never worn a bikini at a party here all the time. I have personally been to a party where the girls were wearing bikinis at night. It was it's a pool party. It happened.
Tuck it in here.
She was one of the girls. She was there, right?
Okay.
Welcome to the dark side.
You feel like the dating habits of the kids on the show sort of accurately portray, like if you look at, Seth and Summer or Ryan and Marissa and what they're going through on the show, do you feel like that's like fairly accurate of what's going on and, at Corona Del Mar High School, at Newport Harbor High School?
You really don't date. Either you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or you just are randomly hooking up with people.
In the show, one thing that I do find accurate is you don't see them going to like dinner and movie dates, because it just didn't happen in Newport. There was no formal dating. There was no like courtship. It was just kind of like, you go to parties, and some of the parties are like, just like in the show, it's like the parents' dinner party, and everyone, the kids get into the wine, and they're, off in the back. And then they hook up. It's almost like an excuse, like get drunk and hook up. It's like the Newport house party thing to do.
That wasn't my high school experience. But I had sex one time in high school. I had sex one time in high school with a girl who thought I was Anthony Michael Hall. You think people grow up faster? Tighten up, you guys. Get involved in this conversation. What the hell's wrong with you? You think people grow up fast here as opposed to other places?
People are coming from parents of like very high influence, and they own companies, and they're high fashion a lot of the time, stuff like that, and they're exposed to a lot more, and you get introduced to a lot of stuff that you wouldn't even see in other places.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting, because I remember like when I was going to high school, there were a couple kids who literally on their 16th birthday, got like a new BMW or like a crazy new SUV. Yeah. And you see that a lot, and I don't think you see that in a lot of other communities, and that's something that's sort of, Orange County, but in particular Newport Beach.
Come on!
When like a kid would come from out of town, like the Ryan character on the show, like he's from Chino, but he's kind of a charismatic, cool dude. How do you find those kids fit in? Let's talk about it from both perspectives.
A lot of times it does. It's as sad as it is. It does depend where they come from. If they're moving here, moving from Newport from another beach community or like somewhere, but if they're coming from Riverside County, Chino, anything like that.
So there's a 909
right away,
component.
there's the definite rivalry there almost between the 909 inland area, Riverside County, and just the coastal parts.
How about from a girl's point of view? If like a new girl shows up, are the girls tough on new girls?
Oh,
yes.
It's so much harder on girls.
Girls, we're cliquey, we're bitchy. We're really not that accepting. If she's a cute one, the guys will start to, hang out with her and we'll be like, who's this girl, trying to take our guys.
But we've had a lot of people move here from Riverside, and they do get a chance eventually. They might get harassed a little bit at first, but if they are nice, charismatic people, like you said, they end up fitting in. People figure it out real quick.
This is supposed to be a community that welcomes outsiders. I mean, me, I'm all the way from the Bronx, and you're from what? Riverside, right? Which is not that different, really, from where Ryan's from. Excuse me.
So let's talk about this whole phrasing of the OC. Do you know anybody who's ever referred to Orange County as the OC?
I've heard OC before, but never the OC.
How about you guys?
That's like
No.
nah.
So no one says the OC.
No.
Newport.
So why did you call it?
Josh, I told you 1,000 times over, no one from Newport calls it the OC. You're from Providence, Rhode Island, Josh. You called it the OC, but I got to give you credit. It's now become sort of a contemporary culture colloquialism. So well done, Josh. I knew I could count on you. Do you guys wish you grew up anywhere else, or would you not change it for anything?
No.
I wouldn't change it for anything. I found the people I liked around here. I found what I liked about this place, and I enjoy it. I thrive on it.
It's a nice place to live. Like, as much as like, hey, I don't live in Newport Coast in a mansion, like even houses anywhere, like we still live in nice houses, like, and I appreciate it a lot. Like, I like this place. We live at the beach, like, it's great.
here we are, we're in front of the crab cooker, and I'm happy to say, I don't think there's any establishment in Orange County that has had more to do with who I am as an individual than this place, I can say in fairness. I've spent the last 25 birthdays at the crab cooker, and the Ryan character in the show works at the Crab Shack because I guess we couldn't get the rights to the crab cooker, and we wanted to capture that vibe of, you know, a kid who'd be down here, you know, being a busboy. And a lot of your types sort of work there, just like groovy surfer, lifeguard dudes
One of my
that did their
friends
time.
works right there in the kitchen. So
There you go. So what are your memories of the crab cooker?
Free clam chowder. It's delicious. Actually, my memory is going in there to buy, I think it's 5-cent gumballs. They have a big
Yes.
gumball machine. It's been there since we've grown up, and I would always go there on my way home from Newport L, and I think we both would go buy gumballs.
Free saltwater taffy.
Yeah, free saltwater toffee and gumballs.
It's the roots thing that, you know, that turned me on to Newport and its culture, not the sort of like, you know, new disposable culture. So I don't know. I like places like the Crab Cooker and places that have been around. I mean, TK Burgers right over there, Original Pizza. Those are some like, you know, day one Genesis spots. Well, I want the OC to ultimately come off like the Last Picture Show, and just the whole notion of you can't go home again. All right.
Yeah.
So check it out. I would wake up and walk down here every morning, and this is the first thing I would see, and it has a very profound effect on you.
Nice.
And there's actually waves today.
Sort of.
There's some little ways.
I was a terrible swimmer, though. Everybody I knew was a great surfer, except me. That's where my nickname McFlea came from. So I was so tiny that I would get pitched, and like all the guys who were good surfers, like Wolcott and all those guys, they'd go McFlea as I was getting pitched over the falls. And that's the story of McFlea. Okay, so here we are at 56th Street, which is a good surf spot. It takes all kinds of breaks. Today's kind of blown out, but you see, you know, kids are still out there surfing, making it happen. The beach looks identical to when I was here. I mean, it's the same. Everything's, you know, it's eternal. That's what's sort of beautiful about it. What do you guys respond to about the OC compared to other teen dramas, and what do you like about it that makes you want to watch the show?
It was waiting to happen. Like the drama and everything, like people having wealth and like the toys that come with it, like boats and whatever, jet skis and all this stuff. Like it was waiting to happen. It's funny.
Well, talk about that. Talk about how, like, in Newport, there are kids who have, you know, a great deal of wealth at their disposal and the toys that come with that, and then kids that don't.
Right.
Talk about that dynamic. That's awesome. All right, so
I was distracted.
Yeah, there's
It was a G-string. I was distracted.
You get to go do the craziest things sometimes. You're taking a yacht to Catalina to go to a place called Moonstone, which is a private beach over there, and just stuff that if you didn't know these people, you wouldn't even know this world existed. It's something you think you'd only see on TV, and yet just because we live amongst these people and they're our friends, we get to, him and I, we're good friends, and so often we look at each other and we go like, what are we doing here?
This is not where we belong.
what's your favorite part of the show?
It's just the comedy, because you see the things that are realistic, and then I see things that are just so outrageous in my mind. I just like it as a whole, because it's my home. Well, it's trying to be my home, and so I take it as that.
The little references like the Blackberry
I live
and
here.
Friends too.
I know you guys do your homework. You guys figure out what's going on in the city. I like watching to figure out what you guys are right on and what you guys are wrong on.
Name an example of the show being wrong.
I think it was the first episode, what's his name, Luke, the truck that he drove, he kept his surfboard on top of his car throughout the whole show. There was just a surfboard on top of his truck. You know, and guys do drive trucks here, but I don't think any of us put our surfboards on top. They go in the bed, and when we're done surfing, they're gone.
That's like the most delicious little mwah. What's your favorite moment in the show so far?
Grandpa's girlfriend hooking up with
Ryan.
That was money, because I've seen it happen. One of my friends' moms, divorced mom, hooked up with one of my friends. That was probably the biggest drama scene, but you guys hit it so key. That's like that happens a lot.
When Marissa asked Ryan, "Who are you?" Anyone you want me to be? You felt what?
Offended as a male.
Yeah.
Who uses these lines?
What about "Welcome to the OC, bitch"?
Yeah. That was the most quoted line for about 2 weeks in this city. Everywhere you went, like anything that happened that was remotely like Newport-esque, it'd be like, "That's how it's done in the OC, bitch!" Like it was the running gag for about 2 weeks after that show aired.
Welcome to the OC, bitch. And this is how it's done in Orange County.
Which character on the show do you identify with the most?
I'd probably have to say the most common answer, which I bet is Seth, only because like he's funny and I'm not like a tough guy who's like, like let's fight and there's all this drama, but he's just funny and he's just hanging out and cruising.
How about you? Who do you identify with the show? Luke, good answer.
Yeah, well, the obvious answer is you've almost tried to pass me by is Luke. Yeah, I played water polo, I have blonde hair. I'm a
Have you
snowboarder kid,
slept with your former girlfriend's mother?
I've tried.
All right, how about you? Who do you identify with?
Probably Anna, because she's in the group and she's part of the scene, but it's not what makes her tick. Like, she's not obsessed with it.
Who is the most attractive girl on the show to you?
I think Marissa looks like what, at least us growing up here our whole life, think of like what a Newport rich girl would look like. Like she is like, yeah, very good casting.
Who would you date?
I'd date Julie Cooper, man, because I like a mean. I like mean women that put me in my place.
I liked the episode when Seth and Summer they're hooking up and she's supposed to be whatever, but it turns out she's a virgin. I liked all that. And the little striptease she does, and that was my favorite episode.
By the way, you know there's a line in there that we had to cut where she said to Seth, Summer says to Seth, lay back like a deli platter and I'll serve myself.
Yes.
And it was too risque. The censors cut it.
My favorite episode is when Ryan was accepted into the family after his mom left. This is real heartfelt. And when it comes to dating, I'd like to say I would date Seth, but I like the bad boy and I kind of like that little mysterious side. I'd probably date Ryan.
How do you feel about Ryan going shirtless for the first time 2 weeks ago?
That's great.
That was great.
Do it more.
We didn't bring this up before, but people around here do have OC parties. You know, 9 o'clock on Wednesdays, they will get together, groups of girls, and they'll invite the guys. Whether anyone likes to admit it or not, a lot of people in this town watch it because, for the main reason, it's based on our town. We want to figure out what's wrong with it and what we like about it, and everyone laughs about it.